no sitting U.S. cabinet member has ever been impeached in American history. You might remember 150 years ago, we've talked about how Secretary Mayorkas would have not been the first cabinet member to be impeached. The last cabinet member in 1876 resigned just minutes before that vote. Secretary Mayorkas, unlike William Belknap in 1876, had the support of his administration and was remaining on. Biden has said that he supports Secretary Mayorkas. But that being said, all that aside, House Republicans were unable to pull this off. This was a key priority of theirs, especially when they won the majority in the midterm elections, to impeach members of the Biden administration and possibly even President Biden. The fact that they were unable to do that, the fact they were unable to impeach Secretary Mayorkas, a massive loss for Speaker Mike Johnson and House Republican leadership and House Republicans as a whole. I can now report which the Republicans were who voted against this motion. We know that it was Representative Gallagher of Wisconsin, Representative Ken Buck of Colorado, Representative, I'm sorry, I'm checking my notes here, Representative Tom McClintock, the Republican of California, and I believe the final representative that we were just waiting to see is Representative Blake Moore of Utah, flipped his vote to no as well. So this was a stunning loss for Speaker Mike Johnson. And again, something you could only see in a House of Representatives where the majority is this tight, guys.
My goodness. Do we have Andrew Rafferty with us right now to join us? Andrew Rafferty, political director, you're with us now in the mix. What do you take away from this? They have been agitating for this for so long. They get a vote finally, and it goes down.
Yeah, well, let's take a step back and think about everything that happened just within the past 24 hours. Immigration was an issue that we know Donald Trump most certainly is running his campaign on. It's one that traditionally has favored Republicans, and one that looked like it would be driving conservative voters going into the fall and into November. And that certainly may still be the case. But what has happened at the House of Representatives specifically and the Senate has not been good politically for Republicans. You have this vote that Nate was just outlining very clearly as a loss for House Speaker Johnson, and as well as on the other side of Capitol Hill, you have a bipartisan deal that is not being voted on. And you can debate the merits of that, and maybe that's not necessarily a political negative for Republicans. But if you're Joe Biden and you are Democrats, you are laying all this out and saying, hey, look we know things are not good at the border. We're trying to fix things. We have another party that is very clearly not being able to fix things and has no interest in fixing things. And so it is something that they are very strong. Republicans are very strong on immigration, and they generally are seen as a party that's better able to handle both the border and more comprehensive reform. But I do think there's a little bit of an opening after what's just transpired over the past few hours here, because this is just a little bit of a debacle that really didn't need to happen. There was really no need to try to bring this vote to a floor or impeach the Homeland Security Secretary. So I think this is no doubt going to be driving Democrats over their narrative over the next few weeks. And I think it'll continue all the way into the fall, guys.
Hey, Andrew, really quickly, do we think that this
Andrew,
will change
if I can just say here,
Nate, go ahead.
I just want to note here that this is probably not the last time that we're expecting to see this on the floor of the House of Representatives. The House Republicans, Speaker Johnson can fully bring this back up. There's a special election in New York in a couple of weeks that might change the number of Republicans and Democrats in the House. Furthermore, Steve Scalise, the House Republican leader who is not in D.C. because he's receiving treatment for a rare form of cancer, he is expected to return as well. He's out of D.C. for treatment right now. So the math could still work in House Republicans' favor. But the fact that they can't impeach Secretary Mayorkas right now, still a major strategic loss for House Speaker Johnson.